It's kind of interesting, guys, if you really think about this. When my kids were little, I have 7 kids, and when my kids were little, every one of them at some point went, I'm big. None of them wanted to be little. They wanted to be big, right? And what we have to understand is the same thing needs to be true of us spiritually. We shouldn't want to be little. We want to grow up. You know what? Anybody can be little. Because if you're little, you do exactly what you want to do when you want to do it. You don't care about anybody else. You only care about yourself. And those aren't godly characteristics. But when we decide to get big, all of a sudden, we have characteristics where we're actually being like Christ in what we do. And all of a sudden, we're like Joseph, who everybody wants to be like. In Deuteronomy chapter 28, really interesting passage. In the first 12 verses, God says this. Here's all the good stuff that's going to happen to you if you follow my truth. He lays it out. Then he skips verse 13, verse 14 and following. Says, here's all the horrible stuff that's going to come on you if you don't follow my truth. And right in the middle of that, in verse 13, here's what he says. The Lord will make you the head and not the tail, and you only will be above and you will not be underneath, if you listen to the commandments of the Lord your God, which I charge you today to observe them carefully. He says, here's all the good stuff, here's all the bad stuff, and here's how it works. Follow God, and I will make you the head and not the tail. Now, we know what that means, okay? We know what a horse looks like, all right? Head and not the tail. The point is this. The tail is something that's just along for the ride. The head is that which makes that horse do all the things that are so cool, that gives direction and hope. Listen, guys, you have to realize that for you and I to make a difference at our time, in our generation, to be able to do this, we got to grow up. And growing up, it just means we become more like Christ. The more that we learn to be like Christ, then all this stuff doesn't happen. We are not the proverbial coyote in the Roadrunner cartoon. We have an opportunity to be able to step up and make a difference. Let's do that this week.